Hi, I'm Leo. Welcome to Low Budget Garage, the mechanic show for the average Joe.
Well, John's now separated the subframe from the body of a '69 Camaro. He explained the importance of making sure that all of the brake and gas lines have been removed. John showed how a wire brush can save time and explained how important a little penetrating oil can be in saving the heads-on bolts and the skin-on hand. Let's follow along on Low Budget Garage.
So here we are looking at the two clips. We're going to compare the 69 to the 71. Here the steering box is behind the cross member. And over here on the 71, the steering box has been moved to the front. Also the linkage is in the front, and the stabilizer bar you can see is very heavy duty. Now if I go back and look at the pitch of the A-arms on the 71, they're towed in just a little bit in the front there. Now if we go over to look at the 69, here you can see the 69 lines up pretty much with the frame itself. So if you follow that line, they're almost straight.
So do you think, John, they changed for better handling?
Yeah, apparently. I don't know much about what's going to change as far as why they would have to pitch it in, but I'm sure the 71 has been known for good handling, so it obviously made an improvement.
Yeah.
So here you look at the cross member, that big beam that connects both sides of the chassis. The cross member on the 71 swoops down much lower, so that will cause the engine to sit lower in the body.
Is that for a better center of gravity, or what do you think?
Yeah, it would lower the center of gravity in the front end, give you better handling. Here on the 69,
Wow, that is shallow.
Yeah, it's much higher. So I'm going to gain some control just by lowering the center of gravity. Turning will be improved by lowering. That's why most people lower the front end of their car, is steering capability.
Now, is this frame going to be able to handle that big 454?
Oh yeah, I'll just buy some motor mounts that are designed for the 454. And these tires aren't looking so good. Now here's the front clip, the 71. I've moved it underneath the body of the Camaro, and you can see that as we zoom in a little bit closer here, the the body mounts don't match up with the chassis.
Is that going to be a big problem?
No, just some cutting and welding, some accurate measurements. Definitely going to have to make sure that it's straight. I don't want to end up driving down the street sideways.
I've heard some horror stories, John.
I've seen them. So I'm going to look at both sides and just make sure everything matches up. And I'll be putting the fenders on here to double check when everything's ready. But the critical part is to get all of that lined up straight. You can see down at the bottom, the rear end of the chassis. The holes don't match up in the back either, so I'll have to drill some new holes and mount those underneath the seats.
You know, when I look at these subframes as opposed to my Chevelle, which is a body-on frame, it just doesn't appear that it's going to be as strong or as structurally sound. But I guess that hasn't proven to be a problem.
Yeah, I think they would have made some major changes had it been a problem, but I am going to tie the front subframe to the rear chassis when I get a chance. So it will become sort of a solid chassis when it's done. But, you know, the first things first, I got to get the front end lined up anyway.
Right, and I imagine with all of the torque that that 454 is going to be putting out, if you don't do that, you're going to get some twisting off the line, aren't you?
Yeah, I mean, granted, this car is really not going to be designed for street racing. I mean, regular racing. But it's still going to have a lot of torque, and it's going to want to twist that body off the frame. And when I tie the front to the rear, it will be much stronger. It'll be more stable.
I just want to let it be known that we don't feel too keenly about street racing, and I know you don't either, do you, John?
Well, no, I'm not an advocate of illegal activities, but it's fun to go out to the local race and, you know, put your car down there and run some laps, see how it does.
Which brings up a good point. Are there any local drag strips where you can legally do that.
Well, I'm out in Southern California, so yeah, we have a couple of strips out here, and there's one out in LA County Raceway. It's Lancaster, but it's cheap. You know, you pay $20, I think. You can race your car down this track and compare it to everybody else. Oh, here's a good shot. This is actually the front section of that 71, so I'll be fixing that up later and probably selling it to buy some new parts.
Ah, very good. As we were discussing, low budget garage.